You're listening to the Retirement Solution Podcast with John Hicks.
Helping you solve the retirement puzzle. Welcome to the Retirement Solution with John Hicks.
Hey, we appreciate you checking out the podcast. And if you have a question that you'd like John to address here, why not drop us an email? You can find us on our website at retirementsolutionradio.com. And we've been talking a lot here on the show about how the coronavirus crisis has really impacted our financial lives, but it's also affected our health. It's been hard to keep up with our fitness routines. I know both of us started here in January talking on the show about our goals for 2020.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. It seems like so long ago.
It seemed like it was another decade ago. Right. When I had told you, and you looked at me with the most ridiculous, incredulous disbelief in your life. And I said, Jennifer, I'm going to climb a mountain this year. I'm going to climb the equivalent of Mount Everest in 2020. This is my year. And
that was supposed to be this weekend, wasn't it?
That was supposed to be literally this weekend. Instead, I look like I've climbed a mountain of Twinkies and eaten of them half the way up. I'm not lying to you. I came into 2020, and listen, clients, you guys know this. I was down 12 pounds by the middle part of January, feeling good, doing the right things. And as soon as all this stuff happened, and as much as I love my children, they were with me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and everything else was happening. Guys, I found myself in the bottom of a pickle barrel, except it wasn't pickles. It was like, I don't even know, Pringles. It was bad.
Or maybe sometimes on the weekend, a bourbon barrel.
Maybe I found myself in a bourbon barrel once or twice. I know. Anyway, so having said that, but see how we always start, Jennifer, and I think this is just part of being human. We are flawed individuals. There's nothing we can do about that. Some people call it sin. I just think we're flawed. And so when we start the year off, or we start anything off, and we're thinking, this is going to be my day. This is going to be my minute. This is going to be my year. This is going to be my month. And it doesn't happen. I think the question always is, at what point in time do we need to self-reflect and then self-correct? Right? Mm-hmm. So with the markets have they went down crazy, and then they've kind of, in a way, self-corrected. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to make one point about this, though.
Okay.
What they're doing to fix the markets, I'm fearful is going to wreck our retirements when it comes to taxation, because I know what's happening. And listen, guys, I'm not against it. Long term, I am against this type of thing where we're printing money from the government feeding trough. Printing. The U.S. Treasury is printing money we don't have. And frankly, haven't had in a long time.
No.
And what we're doing is we're feeding this beast. So the stock market is like a giant, well, let's do this. The stock market feeds off like a giant punch bowl. Mm-hmm. And in 2008, after the big Great Recession, they started spiking that punch bowl. Galen Greenspan, well, there may be a rational exuberance, but we're going to put this really cheap Canadian whiskey into the punch bowl. And guys, it worked.
Yeah,
they stimulated the economy, and we came back, and we came roaring back, and we've had a couple of little baby hiccups, and here we are today. And here's the problem, guys. They've never stopped spiking the punch bowl with cheap Canadian whiskey. Now, as we all know, as wonderful Kentuckians or Indianans or those that are listening to the show, hey, listen, that's not the good stuff. And the problem is you know what happens when you come off of a hangover from the bad stuff? It's bad.
It's miserable.
And so here's the thing. So if we keep going this way, guys, there is only one thing that can happen. Our government will find a way to get it all back. They're going to come to you and me. Mm-hmm. They're going to, all of us citizens are going to say, gimme, gimme. My name is Uncle Jimmy. Yeah, Uncle Sam is going to change his name because he doesn't want to be seen with a ski mask on. But that's exactly what's going to happen.
He's going to call it a coronavirus mask, but we know better. We know better.
You can't see my face if I got it covered with a coronavirus mask. So now I got no problems dipping both my hands in dirty fingers in your pockets and taking everything I can out. And the real question is, what on earth is it going to look like for our children and grandchildren?
Oh, man. I hate to think about that.
Not even teenagers yet, man. They were just newly born. I had a client who just called me the other day, and she was so ecstatic. She had not had any grandchildren yet. She just retired, and she found out that her daughter's going to have triplets.
Oh, three
Literally,
at once?
They're going to have three, Instafam.
Wow.
Add water, boom, instant family. That's exactly what happened, and she was so excited, and then she was like, oh my gosh, 3 at once. wow, so what do we need to do differently? And we started talking about things, and we realized that she probably needs to get money into more tax-free vehicles, and or we need to do some legacy planning just to make sure that Uncle Sam doesn't steal all her money if she doesn't use it all.
There's maybe 3 college bills to pay.
Darn straight.
It's going to be a lot. So
that's exactly it. Ooh. So as I've been saying, I hope that we keep going this right path. I hope this is the right path, but there's one thing for certain, guys. Tax rates are going nowhere but up long term.
And here's the thing, John, I think they might think about some new ways to tax us too. And that's actually something that Yahoo Finance pointed out. You would think, but Yahoo Finance says actually they could do just about anything. And that includes higher inheritance taxes. So if you wanted to pass on your money to your grandkids, there that goes. And then they're talking about this thing, the value added tax. They have this in Europe. How does that work?
So when I've traveled through Europe, it's one of those interesting things. A value added tax is kind of like a national sales tax.
Okay, gotcha.
No, it's kind of like, no, some of us may know if you go down to Gatlinburg, okay? Now, Gatlinburg doesn't have a value added tax, but they have they call it like a resort tax. If you ever looked at your receipt, the state of Tennessee has a certain tax, but there is an additional, I think they call it like a resort type tax.
Okay.
That area has an additional tax to help pay for and maintain all the parks and all these other things that are specific to that area.
Yeah.
And frankly, they make a flippin' fortune
I bet.
off that type of thing. So when you look at that, though, what we're going to have to do, maybe what they're going to look at is should they do a national sales tax? The reason why I don't like this is because, again, if you just look at a gallon of gasoline in the state of Kentucky, a gallon of gas, nearly 57 to 62 cents of that gallon is nothing but taxation.
Right. Yeah.
And if you look at your cell phone bills, when you look at what you actually pay in the end, 25% of that communication is nearly taxation.
Yep.
And here we're talking about doing this on potentially every single thing that any of us use, consume, or think about.
Yeah.
I think they're going to find a way. Hey, you thought about getting that, so we're going to tax you because you thought about buying that motor scooter. Even though you didn't get it, even though you didn't, I think we're going to tax you on the thought of it.
That little bike you just bought. I mean, who knows what you'd be paying for that now?
I'll get a bill in the mail. I'll get a bill in the mail 6 weeks from now. Thank you so much for purchasing your bicycle. Did you not know there's an Oldham County bicycle tax? You need to send us $48 today, please. And if you don't, we're going to put a levy on your house and also your bicycle. Yeah, I know. So I don't like that. But that's what they're going to have to do if they don't increase income tax rates. Guys, you understand. The government does not just have to increase income tax rates. One of the things that Trump and the GOP did when they got in, they did a great job learning from Ronald Reagan. They did a ridiculously great job understanding. When you get in a bind, you got a couple choices. You can have the government reward a whole lot of people that haven't done a lot and go ahead and give a whole bunch of government money out, hoping that'll work out. Or you can reduce taxation and let the people spend their own money on what they want to stimulate growth in the economy.
Right.
I think they did a good job when they did that. Mm-hmm. Now, we also know this expires. This expires in less than 5 years.
Yep.
And so the understanding that we have to have is if they don't increase income tax rates, they can put one of these value-added taxes on in a day. I mean, however long it takes them to vote, assuming they can agree on this stuff, it may take them a week or a month, but they can totally get that in. Here's something else they can do. They can make higher inheritance tax rates. So if you've done a good job saving, and guys, I've seen a lot of you out there, you've saved millions of dollars.
Wow.
Sometimes many millions of dollars in some cases. And as much as you love to think that you could potentially use it all, there's a great chance that a lot of that money is going to go to college.
Yeah.
Would it not
and
make
those
you
grandkids, those triplets, they're going to need some money,
need
right?
That money.
Yes.
It might cost $100,000 a minute to go to college back in those days, unless it's all online. No, but if they increase inheritance taxes, then wouldn't you turn in your grave to know that money you worked your hind end off for, the government's going to take 70% of it before it goes to the next generation?
Yeah.
By the way, that's exactly what Hillary Clinton talked about in 2016 when she ran against Trump.
Wow.
The government was just going to roughly take in her mind. It made total sense. If those are retirement accounts and your retirement is technically over because you're gone and your spouse is gone, why wouldn't the government deserve 67% of that?
We'll just take most of it. Yeah, sure.
And her thing was, it's easy. You know why? It's a lot easier to fight a corpse than someone that's willing to stand up for what they worked their butt off for.
That is true.
It's a weakling's way of stealing money from the citizenry. It's a weakling's way of doing it. Yeah. It's like, well, you're gone. You don't need it no more. I guarantee we'll have an easier fight with people that didn't work for it than people that did.
Yeah.
So, guys, I detest that. I hope they don't do that, but that's another way they can do it. The last way they can do it, guys, is through a wealth tax. So people always say, oh, well, the wealthy should pay their fair share. I completely agree 100%. By the way, so does Bill Gates. So does Warren Buffett. So does Jeff Bezos. If you look at the richest people on the planet, they all implicitly agree with this too. The question is, how did they derive that fair share? That's always the big question. So,
and what's their definition of wealthy?
Exactly,
because that changes too.
Jennifer, I will tell you Social Security's definition of wealthy.
What's that?
Social Security's definition of wealthy is when you are on the highest percentage tax rate on your Social Security income.
Huh.
You ready for this?
Uh-huh.
If you are married and filed jointly, if you have income that exceeds $44,000 a year, congratulations. You are in the 85% Social Security tax rate.
Wow, $44,000 a year?
Did you hear that? And that's true. And they have not changed this in a while. So think about it. So what the government decides they think is wealthy, come on, who can live off of $44,000 a year of those type of earnings?
Yeah.
But that's exactly how it's written. So if you make $44,000 a year of modified adjusted gross income in retirement, congratulations, you're in the top tax bracket. You were charged 85% of your Social Security is going to be taxable. See my point?
Yeah, so you're rich in the government's eyes. Awesome.
And I think that's absurd. And so my point to all this is that we got to stop printing money at one point in time. If we don't, guys, they're going to come seize it all from us. And they have the right to do it. It's all called taxation, which they allowed and adopted in 1913. Unfortunately, this is the lowest tax rate environment we're probably ever going to be in. There are so many ways, guys, so many ways that every one of us can probably shelter or completely eliminate taxes on our income through retirement if we do things right. Mm-hmm. But you have to seek it out. It will not seek you out. Have you ever had the IRS call you and say, hey, let me show you a couple ways you can save a couple $1,000 this year?
Never happens. Never happens.
No, you have to seek them out. These are the types of things we want to offer to our clients. These are the things we do for our clients because this becomes a tremendous long-term event, not just for you, not just for your retirement, but for your grandkids and your great-grandkids or however much longer your money lasts. It's a big deal. So I want everyone to take that very seriously. This might be the best thing to invest in at all right now is the low tax rate environment.
Have questions for John? Drop us an email at retirementsolutionradio.com.
Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if John Hicks is licensed in your state, please call 502-690-5635. J. Hagan Capital Inc. is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through John Hicks, Kentucky Insurance License number 998827.